Hello and welcome back to the 4th episode in the Road To Maltese series, and this is the series where I document my current training and of course the skill I want to get is the Maltese, but as you can tell I've kind of gotten sidetracked, as you can tell by the title, with the hollow back planche. I want to get a perfect hollow back planche and kind of redo or relearn the planche, because the way I learned the planche, where if you've seen my the erase progressions tutorial video for the straddle planche, the way I learnt the straddle planche, it really got me focusing more on my shoulder strength rather than scapular strength. So I'm really trying to relearn the planche so my scapular strength is a lot stronger. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going back a little bit, and working on my scapular strength. So here you can see my current workouts working on that, because when I learn the Maltese, I don't want the scapula sticking out, like not really good form. I don't really want that. So when I learn the Maltese, I want to have proper prep, the proper muscles activated, and that's why I'm doing this. So kind of sidetracked, but still related to the Maltese. But anyway, the hollow back planche, as you can see, I start off my workouts with a planche lean to straddle planche, low straddle planche. So this is one of the methods. I keep total scapular protraction the entire time and then hold as long as I can. And now you can see I moved on to the second exercise, which is these kind of straddle planche hops. And I love doing these hops instead of doing straddle planche swings on the dip bars. So on parallettes, this is what I do hops instead, and as you can see it looks like I'm floating, and that's because I'm pushing really hard down into the bars when I do so. And so I do about 7 sets of the kind of low planche holds, and then I do 3 or 4 sets of the hops, and then I go into my negatives. So as you see, I did a few sets of my negatives, but I just showed you one set there. Here's another day where I'm doing the straddle planche and then a few combos as well, because I'm still trying to keep up with the harder skills that use most of my shoulders. So here I'm not really focused on scapular protraction too much, I'm focused on my combos. And next we go on to another day of training here. Again, I'm warming up with the advanced tuck. You guys know I usually warm up and I prime my nervous system. I have a video all about that, about priming, warm up, and things you should do if you're failing the planche. So watch that video if you haven't, I'll link it up above. But here you can see I start off again with my about 6 to 7 sets of straddle planche, because I'm not holding these for too long. So here, full scapular protraction, as you can see, but it's only a low hold. And if you're trying to learn the hollow back planche as well, I do really recommend that you take things back, try and relearn the planche, relearn how you activate and enter the planche. Of course, leans into the planche I think are the best, and this is one of my best holds I think. You can see on the higher parallettes it's a bit easier to do these low straddle planches just because you have that height off the floor. On lower parallettes it's not really possible. Again, you can see me going into the negatives. So in these negatives I'm doing advanced tuck, and really I drop down and then my scapula isn't really protracted, and then I go into that protraction. So over time I want to strengthen this, so when I drop down my scapula is automatically protracted. I don't have to kind of think about it at all, because when I do any of my straddle planche negatives, my scapula isn't engaged at all, and I think this really holds me back when I do my presses and my push-ups, because if you have good scapular protraction and this hollow back form, it actually does make your presses and your push-ups a little bit easier, I think. Or the muscles that help with those, they really help with the presses especially. Here you can see me doing the hops, but here with the low P bars, you see I get less height. But with the low P bars, you have to lean more really to get the same position. So I thought I'd make it a little bit harder this day, use the low P bars, and then after I did a few of the hops as well. I'm still working on my Maltese, I still want to condition my straight arm strength. So I go into this lean, and the parallettes were sliding a bit. So I just did this on my hands, again working on my protraction while doing these Maltese leans on the floor. So the biggest cues I'm thinking about when I'm doing these hops is I'm really thinking about the protraction. Of course, in all these workouts I'm focused fully on protraction. If my scapula isn't down, I'm not counting it. So I'm fully protracted, the straight arms, and then I'm also working on my glutes. I'm squeezing my glutes. Every set of these, like this set you're seeing right here, my glutes are maximally squeezed. Like I'm squeezing them so hard, I'm literally cramping. And that's really what you need to do to keep that straight line. If I didn't, then you'd see my feet kind of, you see how they float in front of me sometimes, like even here in this one a little bit, my feet or my legs are a little bit not in line. So squeezing your glutes is so important for that nice hollow back form. Here you see me working on my presses still. Presses are still super hard for me. Of course, it's all shoulder strength rather than scapular strength helping me out as well, because of the way I learnt it. So we're still working on those. But no worries there, and it's going to take time, guys, when you're trying to relearn better your form. Sometimes with some skills I feel like it comes naturally, but with scapular strength I think it's so specific, you've got to focus on it somewhat, even if it's just like mentally you're just thinking about it when you do your set, or if you're doing specific exercises, whatever it is, you kind of need that focus to really improve on something as specific as scapular strength. Here you can see me doing these scapular push-ups, but in a tuck planche. So I'm doing these tuck planche scapular push-ups, and these really burn, especially near the end of the workout, mid-workout, really focusing on getting that nice turtle shell back. Of course not over, bending the spine, that's not really what I'm focused on. I'm just trying to get those shoulder blades down, and here you can see me doing it in a planche lean, so I'd kind of do a drop set as well. Okay, so we're a couple of days into this new training program now, and I was training at home, as you can see, and I finally made it to the gym, so that means I could use bands a lot more because of all the pull-up bars. So here you can see me doing banded straddle planche, full protraction, so I'm not focused on, getting that super high straddle planche. I'm really focusing on my protraction, which means I'm going to be a lot lower than I usually am for my straddle planches, and then in between I really like doing the Maltese leans as well. Camera's shaking, I don't know if someone's slamming like some medicine ball or something. But here you can see I quite like these holds with the red band, only a light band, but it's so close to that perfect form straddle planche, that really nice hollow back straddle planche. That is what I'm aiming for. So we're just a little bit off with the height. But that's okay. This is only a couple of days in. I think maybe this is the second or third week of me training like this, and of course I trained almost like 2 years doing the straddle planche with not much scapular activation, so it's going to take some time to relearn this and gain the scapular strength. So in the back there you can see two other calisthenics guys as well, Built by Gravity and Monkey Denal. They're both beasts as well. They're both learning the planche as well, so you guys can check them out on Instagram. They've got amazing content as well, geared towards like beginners or just anyone interested in calisthenics. But as you can see, I'm still doing just these sets of straddle planche and Maltese, doing supersets. Went from the red band down to the yellow band. So in these workouts, I'm really trying to simplify into the most important exercises, because in a lot of the other programs I've given on the channel, there's a lot of variation, which is very good. I did like that way for a long time, but for something specific, like I just want the hollow back planche and I already know how to planche, I just stripped it all back, so it's only really the essential stuff. So it's only really load of straddle planche holds with full protraction, negatives, and things like hops or anything that assists you in some kind of way. That's really what I'm focused on. And here I'm doing just some presses. I'm kind of getting that pressing in, but my shoulder strength and scapular strength is really taking a dip. But you see I'm using both the red and yellow bands. And you guys will be pleased to hear that now I do have my hands and parallettes directly under the bar, so the bands are straight down where they need to be. So in the last Road to Maltese video, a load of you guys were getting triggered because I had my hands and the parallettes really far in front of the bar, so it was kind of pulling backwards, and a load of people were getting triggered. So guys, I sorted that out for this time. I never really had been bothered by it, but since you guys mentioned it, I decided to fix it for this, like, forever now. I'll just always try and put my hands under the bar, because you guys are correct, that's where it should be. You want your hands directly under the base of support so the band can pull directly up, not at an angle. So it's actually helping you out in the way you want. And guys, this is the last workout I did before taking a deload, because I hadn't taken a deload in about 8 weeks. So my right wrist was getting injured, and my right elbow was also still trying to recover from a previous injury, so I was in dire need of a deload. So this last workout, again, it was just focusing on the protraction. So I was building up a lot of fatigue because I was working on my weak point. Then this is after my deload. I just did a few sets of full protraction, full planche holds, which went pretty well. So guys, if you like this video, then please leave it a like and subscribe if you haven't already, if you want to see me get the Maltese. And if you haven't watched that erase progressions tutorial on the straddle planche, it's going to teach you the correct ways to enter into the straddle planche and the best ways to learn it for the long term, because some are better than others.